These timbers we have here are pressure treated for ground contact. They'll actually last for 40 years. Our new retaining wall in the back, I want to line up exactly with your existing stone wall. So I pull the line that lined up with a stone wall. This now becomes the front of our new retaining wall. For the side wall, I need to pull a 90-degree angle line off of this back line. So to do that, I measured out and I put a mark at 3 feet, and then I measured off the intersection again and put a mark at 4 feet. Now, using the 3-4-5 method, if I measure across the hypotenuse, I should be exactly at 5 feet, which we are.
3-4-5, that's our right angle.
Now, I set up a level line which establishes our grade in the front and runs level out to the back. Now, that represents the top of our first timber, which is going to be buried down into the ground. Now, we're going to dig down 6 inches for the timber and 6 inches for the crushed stone we're going to put underneath it to make sure it drains. Pam, that looks great. It's so important to compact that base. Now we're going to put in some 3/4 stone, and once we spread it out, we're going to compact that, and it'll make a great base to set the timbers on. To secure the timber to the ground, we're going to drill a series of holes. Then through the holes, we're going to drive a 4-foot length of 1/2-inch rebar to stake it in the ground. We want to set it down right next to the line. Well, I'm good because I'm level with my line right here. Let me check it front to back with a torpedo level. I'm good. How are you up there? I'm a little high. I like to use a little scrap piece of decking like this to protect the timber. That's good. We're going to use these 4-foot lengths of reinforcing rod to spike the timber in place. Now, with our 8-foot timber staked in and perfectly level, we've taken down the string line because we're going to use this timber as our reference point. Okay, you can see on the end of this pressure-treated timber where we made our cut that we've exposed raw wood. We want to paint that with a wood preservative to protect it. Kyle, what I want to make sure is that the face of this timber for our back wall is plumb with our original string line, because we know our original string line is at a 90-degree angle to the sidewall. Now, to make sure our side walls are parallel, we need to take a measurement on the inside of the walls here. What do you have?
15 feet, 4.5 inches.
Okay, let's go out to the end of that timber. We're going to take another measurement. What do you have for a measurement now?
15 feet, 5 inches.
1/2 inch towards me, Kyle. In order to build a strong wall, we don't want the joints to line up. We want to stagger our joints. And that's going to lay down here and cover that joint for us. Now what we'll do is install an 8-footer here, and that'll cover this joint. Now, to attach the timbers together, we're going to use a special wood screw made for pressure-treated timbers. What I want you to do is put one about 8 inches from this end, 8 inches from the sidewall, and then dead on the sidewall. Well, that's great. That's the last piece on the second course. Now, I really like the way you cut the end at a 45-degree, clipping the corner. It really gives it a good look. We're building our wall at the base of a very big slope where a lot of water comes rushing down, so we have to think about drainage. The first thing we've done is put some 3/4-inch stone behind the wall, and that'll drain the water away. Now, we don't want that stone to get clogged by dirt, so what we're going to do is roll out some filter fabric. You give me a hand on this side. You got it? Hold it right up against the banking. And this is going to keep any dirt from getting down into our stone. Now, to make sure that the water doesn't build up behind the wall, we are going to install a 4-inch perforated pipe. It has little slits in here that will allow the water to run into it. We graded the back corner so it's higher than the front. So when the water runs into this pipe, it's all going to come down this way and empty out right here. Now we just cover the pipe with more stone. Now we just cover the stone with a filter fabric. Well, we're about 2/3 of the way up and the wall's looking good, but now it's time to think about how we're going to anchor this wall, how we're going to keep that top from moving forward. And we're going to do that by putting in what's called a deadmen or a tieback. It's 2 pieces of timber that have been screwed together. Drop it right down in. Now, I dug this trench just so the T would fit in it. Now, what we need from you, Pamela, line that up flush with the wall. Tell us which way we got to go.
Come towards me. Another 1/2 inch. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Now, I want you to take and fasten that dead men down to the wall with 2 screws. We drilled holes through the top of the T, and we're going to drive re-rod through those holes to really lock this dead men in place. While I'm burying the dead men, you can slide that timber right up against it. Now, this is the next to the last row, and we have 1 dead man going in this row. Since this is going to be a play area, we want it to have a nice soft base. And remember, we have positive drainage coming out of here, so all the water is going to run right out of the area.